All right, what's up? It's the day after Christmas. This is just a special episode recapping a bit about our tour, Holiday Tour de Duole. Obviously, wrapped up last week. So super fun. Well, I thought it was fun. It was awful and fun at the same time. So I was super grateful for everybody that came, participated, for Jack Bourne and his vision in creating it. Jess Clapier, Jason Lang, Justin Spangler, everybody that had a part in planning and hosting and preparing. What a fun week together on Zwift, and a lot of fun stories watching guys each go through their own thing, whether it's winning or KOMing or sprinting or just finishing or doing what you can to make it work. A lot of fun stories. One of the best was our good friend Taylor Cannon, who joined with his son Stockton. I thought it would be fun to just tell that story, hear from them, why they joined together as a father and son, what Stockton was thinking as a young 14-year-old in there with us, and a few more of the other fun stories that came out of them being on Zwift with us. So this is just a quick episode, a quick interview with those two to talk about their experience. Not a full recap of the tour, which, maybe Jack could produce for us a full recap. But this is just a fun little insight into their experience riding together, racing together, and being together on Zwift. So it ended with a lot of fun, happy things, a lot of fun, happy prizes, especially for Stockton, as you'll hear, connection with Envy, and a really fun interaction that he had with them on Friday. So you'll hear that story from them. Anyway, big thanks, big love to the team. Grateful for everybody, and thankful for the time we spent together last week on Zwift. All right, thanks. All right, what's up, everybody? If you're joining us on video, welcome Taylor Cannon, welcome Stockton Cannon. Greetings, young man, old man.
Good to be called the old man.
Guys, how is everybody feeling after the thing? After the
smoked.
So smoked, dude.
I saw some guys ride this morning. I tell you, man, I have such a hard time sitting on my bike for that, like on the trainer for that long.
Same.
It's not just the legs; it's like it hurts the undercarriage too.
Well, I mean, okay, so if you don't know, we're talking about the tour, Holiday Tour de Duole de Zwift. When we finished Saturday, I looked at Chris and I was like, we have been on here for 3 hours. Like,
time.
I know it went fast, but I was like, get me off of this machine.
It is long. It is so long.
It was brutal. Okay, so little history. This is our second year. Last year, Jack created it. It was so fun, but I don't think many guys, I mean, I wouldn't say like everyone was like, oh, we're going, can't miss that. I feel like the vibe this year was like, everyone's going, can't miss it. So fun. $12,000 worth of prizes. Like, what in the world? How that happened, I don't know. Maybe we'll get Jack on here. But the funnest part for me, Stockton, was seeing you on there. Having your dad hasn't ridden with us for a while. He's really weak, and he hasn't been on for the last couple of years. I don't know what he's been doing. Just
gym, trying to get big.
But in reality, you guys are an hour behind, right? You're on Pacific time. Walk me through, Stockton. Why don't you go first? The conversation when you and your dad were like, let's do this. This will be fun. And how did that go down?
He just like brought it up and was like, you want to do this? I was like, sure. I don't really have anything else to do.
So no school. You're out of school.
No school. And no,
you had finals this week.
That's true. Did have school.
You did have
finals.
So out here, if you go to seminary, it's all early morning. So
yeah.
These kids, they did not have seminary this last week, which was good.
I didn't think I was gonna have school because of the 17th, but we did. But just like, sure, I'll do it. My NICA season starts in January, so nothing going on.
Which is cool. NICA season in January. Okay. How did your father present this in a way where he was like, okay, son, we have to be on at 5? Or were you like, oh, this is cool, 5? I mean, how did that go?
I was like, sure. It was waking up 5 is not, it's not fun.
Well, I mean, you're up
I'm
at
so
4:30.
tired.
I mean, up at 4:30, right?
Yeah, 4:30.
And
Yeah.
tell me, how did that go, Tay? Were you like, get up, son? Or I mean, were you like up? Like, how'd that go?
Get up on your own.
I don't know, man. I mean, I think like, I mean, I'm sure we'll get into this a little bit, but it honestly wasn't like I wasn't going in there waking him up. I wasn't like,
Cool.
shaking him. It
Yeah.
was like, we're gonna do this ride. We gotta get up at 4:30, so get all your stuff ready, be ready to roll. And he was always up and ready to go. And then by day three, it was like a routine. Here we go again. The water bottles were full, adding a little more food for those longer stages.
Yeah.
It just kind of became dialed. I was
Have you guys ever ridden,
impressed.
have you ever ridden side by side like that before?
We
No.
tried one time, it didn't work. We
Yeah.
thought
It usually doesn't
connect
work.
Bluetooth wouldn't work, so we were surprised that we didn't get any problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, we spent a lot of time like the night before the prologue, just hey, does your Bluetooth like connect to my device, and just making sure we had it all good. We didn't have like
We
we
got lucky.
we got pretty lucky. No connectivity issues.
Oh, me and Kristen had problems like we have
Yeah,
to get on like 15 minutes before because I'm like, oh, your kicker's connected to my laptop. Oh, cool. Your power pedals are connected to my
yeah,
kicker. Oh, cool. Like everything is like every morning I'm like, this couldn't be dumber, this machine.
always, always.
Okay, very
Yeah,
good. Fun videos from your mom. So your mom posted lots of fun. Stockton, you were on your mountain bike, right?
Yeah, it was. It's
Okay.
actually comfortable.
Yeah. I've never, Tay, have you ever done a mountain bike on a, I've
well,
never,
we got that Wahoo picker where it's like it adapts to any
oh yeah,
drivetrain.
that's
So
great.
like you can rotate your mountain bike to road bike. You don't have to change out anything. You just like
It's
Yeah.
easy.
throw it on. It's what is the kicker kicker
Oh yeah.
core,
So
and
good.
it's so awesome, so
Okay.
awesome. Yeah.
Stockton, what were your expectations? You're going in where you're just like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna go. Were
I
you
didn't know what I was
nervous?
gonna do. And when the prologue came, I was like, oh shoot, it's gonna hurt.
Prologue
I was surprised.
was not neutral. That was in no
No,
way
they said it was just gonna be chill. I was like, is this
was
chill?
not. The same thing happened the next day with like the warm up lap.
Yeah,
I'm like, I'm doing like
yeah.
280. I'm like,
I was getting like dropped. I was like, oh shoot.
it, it was like
Mm.
I mean it's so fun to be in that group, and it was so well organized. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
you're really good at this, but to be able to give directions and talk during the race and make sure everyone's following the rules is like a whole other component to the difficulty.
yeah.
And so it was just so organized and so perfect. Despite being ridiculously hard, it was very, very well run.
Well, and
Very
that's doubled down on when Chris Harmon like chimes in trying to like prevent you from understanding what the race director has just told you to do. He's like saying the opposite of what
Is he going to
okay.
do that?
Okay. Stockton,
Yeah.
challenging?
Yeah, I don't think I've done anything that hard in a while.
Yeah. What was
Or
challenging?
ever.
Just the energy
Well,
required or what?
waking up was rough, and then just being able to sit on the trainer and ride for that long and not you can't stop pedaling. It's not like riding outside. You're just like
Yeah.
constantly pedaling.
Yeah.
So that was rough.
Brutal.
And then just yeah, people are fast.
So
TC, how'd you do, TC?
I mean, it was fun. I'm not in great bike shape. I think I sent you a screenshot of my Strava fitness.
It's 11.
I'm at 11. I think I was at like 80 the last time I did loaded you.
Oh my
So,
God.
but it's good. I didn't weight dope. I weigh almost 200 pounds right now, which is about 25 pounds heavier for me, and my FTP is drastically lower
Yeah.
than it has been. So the flats were great. Like the sprint stage and the prologue was great, but as soon as we hit some hills, I felt like I was towing Stockton. And he would just go, it was fun to see him like do so well on the climbs. He weighs, what do you weigh? 110. He weighs 110. Now, what's your FTP?
201.
His FTP is 201. So, I mean, that's pretty good watts per kg on the climbs. Yeah.
Stockton,
Not flats.
maybe we should do this real quick. Sorry, I didn't do this at the beginning. Would you introduce yourself a little bit? Who you are? Where you live, how old you are? We do that.
I'm 15. I guess I'm from Denver, California. Lived here for 3 years. Did live in Utah, but decided to move us. I kind of started really getting. I started enjoying riding, I guess, in like 7th grade, and just kind of gone from there. And it's really fun.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
if you follow him on Strava, really fun gravel routes you guys do. Stockton, dude, he trains hard. I watch other high school kids train. He's not, you don't just like show up and fart around.
Well, you
Which
can
is
ride all year here, so
so cool. Yeah.
I've stuck on Zwift.
Yeah. Stupid Swift. If you don't know TC, how many episodes is this, your third or fourth episode, TC?
I think I was on one of the first,
You were?
like first or second or third, one of those
Yeah.
with
Janie.
Janie. We did the triathlon one.
Yeah.
And then we did a Leadville recap.
That's right.
And now here I am with Stockton, which is super fun. But yeah, it's always fun to be on here. I think I've listened to almost every podcast still. We still love it. It's a way for us to kind of feel attached. Even though we're a couple states away, we surprisingly still feel very connected, and the podcast is a great way for us to stay in touch. But yeah, we've been out here almost 3.5 years, which is crazy.
I like it.
Yeah.
There was a point, I think Friday, where Tate commented like, "Love this community," and I was kind of like, "Oh, it's nice to have Tate back. Like, it's fun to have you on there, because waking up, getting on there that early, I'm like, no one expects like you to be on, like, from California. Like, that's just silly." But it was cool to just have you guys on there, like imagining the two of you dum-dums riding next to each other in your basement or wherever you are as father and son. It kind of turned into like the cool story of what we were doing. Maybe can you talk about that for a sec? Just like what it was like to be there. Yeah.
Totally. I mean, so many of the guys have sons or daughters that ride. And all of us have kids with different interests. And Stockton's always just been the kid that's gravitated to riding bikes. I mean, I've taken him biking for a long time, and I've always had that mentality of, let's just kind of see how this goes. Like, don't be too serious, don't be too strict. And just as he's gotten older, he's asked for more like structure, and he's asked for more discipline. And so we've kind of gone through, what was your first bike?
Specialized? That
he got like, I don't know, some 50-pound bike, and he just kind of like kept demonstrating that he's willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
And so whenever I see families like the Britons, rode a lot with Dave and Camille and Ben and Davey, and then Ben went on his mission, and now he's back. And Davey's going now. And so many guys have sent kids through NICA, and it's fun to kind of be at that phase now. So Stockton's a freshman. He's getting ready to go into his freshman year. And it's been just so cool to share these experiences. And what's cool is like, it's just starting to get good. Like, we have so many cool adventures on the horizon, which keeps me motivated to at least keep biking, because I have not biked that much this last year. But thinking about the stuff that he wants to do White Rim, he wants to do like all these cool events that I've done. And, doing stuff like this is just a great way to stay connected. So
nice. I love it. So I can maybe talk about for a second your goals. Like, what are you training for? What are you hoping for? Are you out there to have fun? You out there to be, can you talk about that?
I mean, just have fun, but maybe Duelle NICA get a podium this year.
Yeah.
And then just I want to do longer just races like Sea Otter and maybe eventually, like you said, do White Rim or Leadville when I'm old enough.
Fun.
Tahoe Trail. Sounds fun to me.
Tahoe Trail. Let your dad
Uh,
show you some pictures of his face after that.
I know he gets so dusty and hot,
Yeah.
but it just sounds fun.
Really fun thing happened Friday. Friday.
Friday.
Yeah. So Jack, we were on there with Mark from the owner, co-owner of PAX. I hope I get this all right. Who's also the new owner of Envy. And Jack was like, sign Stockton, Mark, to the UAE team. And I was kind of like, yeah,
Yeah.
like funny. And
Yeah.
then Jack sends me a screen capture as soon as we done. And Mark was like, hey, connect me with Taylor and Stockton. Let's hook this kid up. And I was like, yeah, hook him up with what? Like a one-piece bar? Like that'd be cool. Like some wheels. Uh,
Yeah.
Tay, do you want to tell the story? You want to tell them what happened?
I'm happy to tell a story
Yep.
because I want to make sure that people kind of understand what happened and how generous Mark was. So, I mean, first of all, like, Stockton is a kid that is extremely talented. So he's great academically. I don't see any kid work harder. And, these mountain bike kids, they don't get the publicity
No,
that the football boys
I
do,
agree.
or the soccer boys do, or the basketball boys do. And all of Stockton's friends play, all those other sports, and nobody knows like how hard
I
this kid
agree.
freaking works. And
I
all
agree.
those kids back home, like they go to mountain bike practice every day after school and they work so hard.
So,
It goes unnoticed.
Stockton, cover your ears real quick, okay? I think
Yeah.
it's horse shit. I
It,
think it's bull crap.
it is.
It is.
It-
The principal at Olympus, I try to give her updates. I try to be like, hey, this is, and she's like, we don't care. It's a club
okay.
sport. Yeah, but they don't care. I
Um,
agree, Taylor. I'm sorry to add that in. Okay, continue. Thank
No,
you.
I think it's important that people hear that though, because these kids work so hard and they're so gifted and they're so talented, and no one has any idea
I
what the heck
agree.
it is, So like that's why this was such a fun week, because people recognize it, people get it,
Yeah.
and it's just that's why the community is so important, because it's like that support. Like you don't walk down the streets of Danville and say, "Oh, there's that like mountain bike kid." You say, "Oh, there's the quarterback or there's the point guard," and like I grew up playing those sports, so I can't bag on them too much, but I think that's why I was so grateful for just the recognition during the
Yeah.
week. It's because people were like, dude, that is so cool to see somebody, work that hard. Anyways, that was the context. So when all that kind of happens too, it was just like this outpouring of love and support. And Jess had kind of texted me like, hey, give me the debrief on Stockton. I kind of sent him that some info, and he did the race day recap,
That
which
was
was
cool.
That's awesome.
amazing, super
Yeah.
cool. Appreciate Jess. And then Jack texted me after on Friday, and he's like, "Hey, I want to how did he say it? He's like, I'm going to connect you with Mark Hancock." And I'm like, okay. Like, and to be honest, in fairness to Mark, like, I didn't know Mark.
Yeah.
And so I kind of Googled him, and I was like, he's like an executive with PAX. And I know a bunch of guys from PAX that work out here. And so I was like, okay, cool. And then he connected me with Mark, and Mark's like, "Hey, Stockton, it's so cool to see what you're doing. Like, just keep on crushing it. I noticed you were on a mountain bike. We're gonna hook you up with an NV Melee." And I was just like, "What? What are you talking about? Like, that's amazing." And I had thought like maybe it was like part of the tour, like part of the like
Right.
the raffles and stuff. And so I was like texting Jack. I was like, "Hey, Jack, like." Is this just something Mark's doing because he's being extremely generous, or is this something like that was planned, with MB, and they were gonna like select someone during the course?" And he's like, "Dude, this is Mark just being an amazing person and being inspired by your son.
It's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, sorry, I get a little emotional talking about it because it's like, seeing someone who would do that, and I can promise Mark, like that bike will get its use because this kid rides his bike every day, So, anyways, it's hard to like even know what to say about it because it's so generous, It's just beyond generous. So, super grateful just for everyone kind of creating this ground swelling of support, and
Awesome.
many thanks to Mark. So,
Did he
yeah.
miss anything, Stockton?
No, don't think so.
Yeah.
He was pretty
I just
pumped.
have no words. It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
What do you
yeah,
mean no word? Your father's gifted you 2 bikes. You just might as well just keep
No,
getting more bikes, you know?
it was weird. I couldn't even process it. I was like, what? It was
Yeah,
out of the blue. It was awesome.
it was
he's
cool.
been he's been messing around with all the specs, and Pogachar's rides his envy wheels and stuff. So it's just like
Don't
it's
let your
been.
dad change that frame to a 56. You got to
I
keep it.
know. Gotta make sure.
I know, man.
Dude, well,
He'll be
when
done.
I was texting you on Friday about it, and you said, "Hey, I'm emotional." I was like, I was trying to like tell Kristen the story. And when I hung up, I was like, I want to be a guy who gives away bikes. Or you know what I mean? Like, if it's not that, then a guy that recognizes something as cool as like what was going on.
Yeah,
Like to be in the front row of something like that. It was just really, it was cool to watch. It was cool to see that somebody could be an example of doing something like that where you're like, this is inspiring stuff. This is awesome.
yeah,
I just,
yeah,
it was, that's why I asked you on Saturday. I was like, we got to remember, we got to tell everybody. This was so cool. It was so
yeah.
fun.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up because it was one of those things where it's like I don't know Mark personally, right? We just have been able to text, and he seems like the kind of guy who would do this without anyone like
Yeah.
even knowing. I genuinely just like the kind of guy who was, hey, it was cool to see that kid on there. It was inspiring, and I want to do something for it. Like he seems like the kind of guy who would do that behind closed doors, but it's hard for me to let that happen because it's such a big deal. So I appreciate you bringing it up.
Yeah, that was awesome. I don't know if Jack and team will deflect all of this praise, but they really did an incredible job last week. I mean,
So cool.
there were a few times where I was like, these numbers are not automated. He's going individually out somewhere and
Yeah.
plugging this all in. I'm like, it's just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing,
Yeah,
everything from having its own Instagram page, and just everything was so well
yeah.
organized to the prizes. I mean, so many other people that were generous with, their company resources deserve the recognition. So it was really cool to see.
I agree. A couple more questions, Stockton, before you go. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, a lot of the guys listening have sons or daughters who are in NICA, and you are kind of in a position to talk about it from a real honest standpoint, like you're the kid, right? Um, what do you think is a good system for
For
parents
parents
to help
to
their
help their
kids be in NICA and to have fun and learn and do a good job? I mean, what should parents be doing to make sure their kids have a good time?
Um, I mean, I don't know. Just help make sure they enjoy it. I mean, if you, I'm trying to think. Maybe just like if they, I don't know.
How about I flip the question? How can parents ruin it?
Oh, forcing them to do stuff if they don't want to do it,
Okay.
making them. I don't know. You just gotta make sure they're enjoying it. I guess if they're not enjoying it, there's no point in doing it.
Yeah. Have you felt that your dad's done a good job at that?
Amazing job
Yeah. All right. T.
getting bikes and stuff, taking me to
That's it's
races.
a huge part of it. I know it sounds stupid, but like your kids know if you're giving them like a crappy piece of trash bike. Like as soon as I gifted as soon as you gift my daughter, she's like, "Oh, this is a bike we're going to train and ride on, rather than like some weird nasty
Yeah.
bike." So very cool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else, Stockton, that like if you're talking to a group of parents or dads where you're just like, "Oh man, this is what I
Fun,
think." Have fun.
good community. Yeah, just I enjoy it better most than anything else. So yeah,
Nice.
fun.
Well, I left a comment on your Strava, um, where I said you're a special kid, right? I see a lot of kids through church and have for the last 10 years, not a lot of young men would do what you did last week. It was pretty cool. It's pretty special stuff,
Yeah.
man. I'm
You feel
serious.
that?
It's not just like waking up and doing that. That's not what it was. It was like you committed, you showed up, you came, you finished, and you rode hard. You were like blowing dudes out of the water who were lying about their weight. So
I don't know. Some pretty fast people in there. It was
they're liars.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. T,
Yeah.
anything else you want to say about your kid?
No, man. I mean, asking. It's funny, as we were preparing for this podcast, I'm like, I wonder how much Stockton's going to talk, like when he's asked questions, you know. But Stockton's just one of those kids who he's great. Like if you're watching this, he smiles, he makes eye contact with adults. He's just a really good kid, and I think that's why I'm super grateful for bikes, is because people who find their love for something like biking, it teaches them so much about who they are at a young age, and teaches them how to do hard things, teaches them how to commit, teaches them how to overcome, teaches them how to,
Yeah.
do research, teaches them how to get better. And so that's why I say it's never about the bike. It's always about what it teaches you. And I think those are the types of lessons that will, pay dividends for Stockton as he prepares for more important things. And even though he has really big ambitions and he wants to do well with cycling, I think the dividends that cycling will pay as he, you know, commits to other things in his life, will be, far greater. So he is reaping the benefits for sure.
Awesome.
And yeah, that's what I would say. And to all the kids, right? Like every kid who's out there doing NICA, going after school. And it's funny, Stu. Sorry for blabbing a little bit here, but the school that we go to out here is called San Ramon Valley, and it probably has the largest mountain bike team
Oh yeah,
in
100%.
NorCal. And I was talking to one of the guys last year, and just the level of participation from eighth grade to senior year like starts to dwindle. Like it starts to fade out here. And I actually I was curious about like how it was in Utah, because I was like, why is that? Like, why are kids like falling? And
Less support.
it gets harder. There's less support. You can't just show up to the race and just do, 5 laps instead of
Yeah.
2 laps, right? Like
Right.
it's hard, and so I for all the kids that just start to kind of fade, just like varsity football, like it stinks to go to 2-a-days and not get a reward for it. So I have no doubt that this kid will keep going. And I always like, if you listen to the We Do podcast with George Hincapie and Lance Armstrong, George Hincapie has a pretty competitive kid. And he's always like, don't get your kid like a power meter, like don't make him do structure.
Yeah.
And I was always like, I'm not gonna do that. Like I'm never gonna give my kid structure. And
He failed.
just for Stockton, he was just like, Dad, like I want to get on a training plan. Like I want to do this. And it's just like, okay, well, we'll give you this power meter. And so we got him like a Garmin Vector power meter. And I'm like, he's like, I want a coach. I'm like, well, I'm not paying for a coach for you, but I am like the trainer road guru. So stuck him on trainer roads, stuck him on a plan. And he's just like, FTP test, boom, holding to my workouts, boom. And so like I get a little bit nervous because he's only a freshman, and I'm always just like, dude, just go ride your bike. Like don't worry about it. But this kid just like, I gotta do my intervals today. So it'll be fun to see what happens.
It's fun to do it and I guess learn from it and
Well,
see where it takes you.
it's fun. That's why I was saying you're special. It's different. It takes a long time for most people to get to that point. And you'll transition to here. You're going to get like way good at it. And then all of a sudden you'll be like, oh man, I'm not getting way good anymore. So why do I do this? Do I do it because I enjoy it? Do I do it because it's a challenge? Yeah, you kind of live through this weird cycle of figuring out always why you're doing it.
Yeah.
So it'll be cool.
Yeah, because
100%.
that's so true. Because once you hit like these kids, like from seventh, every single year, they're just naturally getting stronger. But eventually, to your point, Stu, it'll be like, man, my FTP didn't increase by 20 watts this year. I didn't get.
Oh, and my weight went up.
My weight went up. Yeah, it's hard work. It's hard work.
Stockton, well, Chip wants to create a youth development Duole program, so maybe you're
cool.
maybe you're number one here in 3 or 4 years when we launch the I don't know what it looks like.
We're in.
I'm in.
Let's do it.
We're totally in, man. I mean, that's what I love seeing. Like, I know you and Kristen are heavily involved with Olympus, and Chip is too. We love seeing that stuff just because Stockton eventually he'll go somewhere for college in Utah. Like, we just know that'll happen, and eventually he'll make friends with a whole bunch of kids and stuff that all these parents have been just dedicating their time and resources and expertise. And if anyone has ever been to a mountain bike race, nothing brings out more emotion than seeing kids come across the finish line. It's super cool.
It is so cool. All the kids, even the ones in the back. It's just
awesome. Always.
It's so cool.
Always. Yeah,
lots of work.
All right, Cannons, love you guys. Way to go. Hey, I'm even texting. Your brother texts me now, sends me pictures of sunrises.
He's getting back into it.
Yeah, he's all in, man. He was
an incredible cyclist. It's weird. You kind of go through these cycles. I've gone through a cycle this last year of just not being too committed, but
yeah,
I don't know. The tour was a little bit of a threw me back into the deep end. It was nice.
Well, you got a new envy now, so it'll be great.
I don't. Do it. He does.
I'm just kidding. All right, boys. Hey, thank you very much. Great to connect. Good luck with the season. It starts January. That's crazy.
Early.
So
yeah,
opposite.
Okay, so you're a ninth grader. You're a ninth grader now.
Yeah, I'm racing freshman.
Okay.
So I still have 4 years to race.
Okay.
It'll be good, man. Last year was tough. Like Monterey, first race of the year, 3 laps.
Yeah, it'll be different.
He was at the front after lap 1, comes around lap 2, just pile up, just down.
Happens.
And then second race,
I flatted.
Flat, done. Third race, crash? 2. 2 crashes.
Wait, no. I don't even know. No, that was kind of bad. It's like, I was tired.
It's just a rough year, and these
didn't have fitness.
The season's so short, so
short. Yeah.
Hoping for some better results this year. We'll see.
Yeah.
So
don't ride that melee. Okay.
Oh, I
won't. Will we see anyone come out for Sea Otter?
Oh yeah, I think there's a lot of people planning on it. Sea Otter also is the one of the qualifiers for bumping up corrals at Leadville. So a lot of dudes want to use that as a thing. So it's over spring break. Sea Otter's over our spring break.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
good.
So, should be fun.
Well, it's so fun.
We hope to see some people out. So
nice. All right, fellas.
Thanks, Stu.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great Christmas. Okay.